Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. All the working people out there, it's the start of a new week. The weekend goes by fast, but we're back at it again with a fresh new week. As I said here, today is Monday, September 25th, 2023. How was everybody's weekend? Did you do anything fun over the weekend? Did your football team win over this weekend, whether it was in college or in the NFL? I know my Pittsburgh Steelers won. It was a close one last night against the Las Vegas Raiders, but the Pittsburgh Steelers came out on top. So shout out to Steeler Nation about that. But whether you were tuning in through YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, we just want to say thank you for all your support. For our audio and podcast listeners, y'all know what we say around here. Thank you for turning those dials to Hot 97 News in Motion for your relevant commentary and call to action news. Shout out to all the people that said that along with me. I had some people mention that before that, we say the Hot 97 whenever you say it with us. So I appreciate all of our audio and podcast listeners for that. Good morning to you, Miss Adrian, who is tuning in through YouTube, and she put up the black and yellow hearts for Steeler Nation. We love to see it. And good morning, Latrice Jones, tuning in through Facebook. Good morning, Miss Deborah Johnson, who is also tuning in through Facebook as well. So, without further delay, y'all know what we do here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
What's up, everyone? How are you doing on this Monday morning? This is Monday, September the 25th, 2023. I see the Steelers stuff coming up in here today. I also see Robert Holman in here. Donita, what's up? My brother Louis Pryor's in here. And I see Hester Jackson coming in here as well. So I want to say good morning to you. I think Jacqueline is also popping in, as well as Dr. Antoinette and Patricia Lau. So good morning to all of you. Isaiah gave the rest of you a shout out. Y'all, before we go any further this morning, when we go into the green room, I'm able to see Isaiah, and I'm able to aunties can discern stuff. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" So y'all, there was a fourth grader who passed away in a car accident. She attends the school where he currently works. So just pray for the school today, the students, the families, the teachers, the administrators, and whomever may come in contact with him. I cannot imagine what that's like. So we do want to pray for them. All right, Latrice says, yes, we need to make videos of our dance during the intro. Y'all, let's do that. I would love for y'all to do that. Make sure y'all do those. I always it's like vertically, horizontally. So make those and make sure your camera goes the long way across. Do it, send it to my email, newsinmotion with Gail at gmail.com. Y'all, let's start that viral video. How about that? We do it for CeeLo. I do love CeeLo's new challenge that's out there. We do it for Beyonce. Well, let's do it for some news in motion. So y'all take that video, that music from the intro, and go ahead and do your dance video. Submit those in. We'll put all those together and put it up. But if you want to put it out there virally as well on your reel or whatever, do that as well. Make it a news in motion dance challenge. How about that? I see you, Kim Edmondson. I see you, Pastor Alex. I see you as well. All right, y'all, we have a lot of news. But before we do that, I have a question. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? I want to make sure I check in with you all from time to time. How was your weekend? I hope all of you had an amazing weekend. I see you, Judy Neal, rolling up in here. Fred Jones, Shirley, what's up? How's your husband, Shirley? I've been continuously praying for him. Y'all, we're like a family. So when I do that shout out and I call out stuff like, hey, Shirley, how's your husband? Yeah, that's what we do here. That's what helps us stay connected as well. And that's the part that I love about News in Motion. Good morning, Marion Jackson. So, y'all, how's your weekend? Take a few moments and put that in the chat if you don't mind. Just letting us know how your weekend. I had a fabulous weekend. I had a surprise. My child like popped in from Atlanta, and I was like, hey. So I was excited. We had fun. Then my son preached at his church on Saturday at 5. If you're looking, and I don't want to give y'all the demographic per se, but if you were looking for 1 hour, power packed, amazing worship service, check out the Builders Church. Pastor Alexander, his last name is Roseboro. It's hyphen Dudley, but he uses Alexander Roseboro, which is cool. He's grown. He can do what he wants to. That service was amazing. Deborah Johnson said, I had a wonderful weekend. I went to the coffee festival. Well, that sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Fred Jones says weekend was good. Victory Monday. Here we go, Steelers. Okay. I see. So check out the Builders Church, 5 o'clock. They meet in the fellowship hall at Shiloh Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio, right off of Mount Vernon there. Check them out. Y'all, that service was amazing. From the Mind Ministry all the way to the Preach Word. Absolutely amazing. There's a lot of millennial families that come as you are. They come, they get the word. Then they normally do something together after church. They're going to Top Golf. They're going axe throwing. They're doing putt golf. Their ministry is phenomenal. So just want to put that out there. And then then my husband preached on yesterday. So it was a beautiful thing to see my son preach on Saturday. My husband preached on Sunday. My daughter was with us. And then my husband preached this word at Destiny Church is Sunday at 2 o'clock. Unbelievable worship service. And they meet in Gospel Lighthouse, their old area, out right off of Freebus. Y'all check that out. Pastor Teddy Caesar is the pastor there. Amazing. That worship service was powerful. Like, oh my word. So I had an amazing weekend. Let's see. There's more of you. Dr. Antoinette said, great birthday and bishops and daughter. And I see the whiz. I saw your post. How was the whiz, Dr. Antoinette? And happy birthday to you. Thank you for sharing that. Marion Jackson said, my weekend was relaxing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Robert Holman says, weekend was blessed. My sister Patricia Lau says, awesome Friday football night. Y'all, she has a senior who's graduating, a grandson who plays for Pickerington North, I believe. Then she went to church and soccer. Kim Edmondson said, football all weekend. Regina Schwartz, good morning to you. Who else is out here? Lori Wallace, good morning to you. If y'all wondering why I'm now moving, I have a whole new setup here, and I decided this isn't going to work because I'm missing what some of you are saying. But y'all, thank you for putting in here what your weekend was like. What your weekend was like. All right, y'all, let's get to some news. Can we just say money? Okay, y'all remember that song? Money. That one. Well, y'all, piles of cash and gold bars. I'm like, are we in the movies or what? Like, you're hiding this in your home? Like, help me understand what's really going on. Y'all, in a 39-page indictment, federal prosecutors on Friday accused Senator Robert Menendez, a powerful New Jersey senator and Democratic chairman, y'all, he's a Democratic chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, of accepting bribes that included a luxury car, expensive exercise machines, mortgage payment, bars, y'all, real bar. Y'all know I had to go get the indictment, right? I did. I had to go read it. I had to read it. It's if you like to read things like this, it was the amazing thing. But I'm gonna show y'all something. Y'all, bars of gold. Bars of gold. I'm like, what? And they're carrying out these bars of gold like it's on a movie. I'm like, we do this now. This is what we do. So yeah. In exchange for bribes, Mr. Menendez wielded his power to increase U.S. This is the indictment. This is what they are assuming. Okay, what I'm sharing with you, I don't know it to be fact. Okay, they're saying that it increased the U.S. assistance to Europe. I'm sorry, to Egypt, and to do favors for New Jersey businessmen. Prosecutors said. Now, y'all, he's a longtime Democratic senator, and his wife allegedly accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars as well in bribes. So, y'all, there's like five others or three others, total of five of them. Now, he maintains his innocence. He's like, I ain't doing anything wrong. I'm just doing business like everybody else. Well, I can't be mad at that either. And even in reading this, it was like, well, he ain't doing nothing different than the former guy, Jared Kushner, Eric Jr., and anybody else. Not that it's okay, but he's like, I ain't going nowhere because they're now trying to force him to resign. AOC is like, he needs to resign. Now, it's wrong. We think it's wrong. I believe it's wrong. Okay. But he's like, where am I going? I ain't going nowhere. And then he's like, in one of the interviews, he was like, let's just look around. And I'm thinking, he talking about the Supreme Court justice as well. He's no different. He just may not have any bars to go. I think where Menendez messed up, he has bars of gold. He was hiding them. I'm like, you got some serious bars of gold in your house. They found money in jacket pockets, which I think we all do that when we consider hiding money or whatever. But I don't have, it may be $20. It's not $400,000 stuffed in pockets, wrapped in thousands. It's like, what is going on right now? What's happening? Yes, Dr. Antoinette Gold, bars of gold. He had bars of gold in the house, like stacked up. And they were carrying them out like no, and it appears that them bars of gold are heavy. I was like, this is like the movies. Like, who does this? But y'all, seriously, if you're interested in reading this, it's some amazing reading. Like, he even had them. Let me see, because it was stuffed in a sweatshirt. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can see this picture. It's stuffed in a sweatshirt. Mm-hmm. Like, it was wrapped around, and then he has a jacket. It was stuffed in. I'm like, we do this now? Did you put them in shoes? Well, y'all, it's some very interesting reading. It really is. So it's 39 pages. If you get an opportunity, check it out for yourself. I was like, wow, this is what we do. This is how we do it. We just do it that way. All right, y'all. The president is joining the line tomorrow. President Joe Biden, he's going to travel to Michigan, and he's going to picket with the United Auto Workers unions. Historians have been digging deep, looking into all of this, and they believe this is the first time that a sitting president has visited a picket line during a strike. So he's setting up some new rules here. He's like, I'm going to go picket. Y'all know John Fetterman's already out there. Bernie Sanders been out there. The president said, I'm gonna go too. And then of course the former guy wants to show up on Wednesday. He's not gonna pick it. Watch. He's gonna just be in his car waving his hands. All right, y'all. Voting news. Now, I don't know that for sure. Voting news. PennLive.com reported. And this is some great news, everyone. Governor Josh Shapiro on this past Tuesday announced that Pennsylvania will become the 24th state, everyone, to implement automatic voter registration. Yes, I'm excited about that. In an interview he had on MSNBC Morning Joe, Governor Shapiro said everyone who goes to the Department of Motor Vehicles to get a new or renewed license or state ID will automatically register to vote, unless the individual chooses to opt out. So you have to opt out. Who want to do that? He says it's safe, secure, and it's streamlined way to get them to register and participate in our democracy. He goes on to say that there's 1.7 million Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote but are not registered. Help me somebody understand why not. He said Secretary of State Al Schmidt estimated there would be tens of thousands of new registrants in the first year. And he says that he's proud to have fulfilled that campaign promise. And I want y'all to even now get excited about that and the work that they're doing. Y'all, that is absolutely amazing. And being that we are in this time for election season, there's so many of states already that your voter registration has ended. There's some that's still out there, but I encourage you to go to your Secretary of State. Your Secretary of State website and to see, is it too late to register if you're not a registered voter? And then this is also time for you all to check your voting registration. I'll tell you about that in a few moments after this message.
Ready to help America vote? Working the polls on Election Day is a great way to strengthen our democracy right in your own community. Poll workers set up polling places, check in voters, and answer questions, and show us how to use voting machines. It's important. Any voter can file an application to become a poll worker, and most poll workers get paid. Because right now, America needs more election workers to volunteer. Learn more at helpamericavote.gov.
You can go there to learn more, but you can also, we still have our link with Power the Polls. You can also go to www.powerthepolls.org/news in motion. We are among a lot of other organizations, news media, retail stores, department stores, and so forth, we're putting this information out there. You can be paid. You can be paid. So check that out. If nothing more, y'all, is civic duty, is civic engagement. I believe Kim Edmondson is on here. Kim Edmondson has been working the polls. Adrian has been working the polls. And I believe there's others of you that are out here as well that have been working the polls. So y'all, I need all of you to check your voting registrations daily. We're now at daily, not even weekly anymore. We're at daily. Y'all, HuffPost is reporting that the system appealed to both Republicans and Democrats. Democrats offer data to help keep voter rolls up to date and also ease the process of registering eligible voters. Then the far right has attacked. We're still in this 2020 shenanigans. So as of last January, more and more states are pulling out of what is called the ERIC. And I'm trying to see what it stands for, and I'll find that in a moment. It's a voter registration system that really keeps all the documents and information together. So last January, the site pushed. There's a site called Gateway Pundit. They pushed the anti-vaccine and election lies in the past, which falsely accused this ERIC of being a George Soros funded effort to help Democrats. It's not true. That's fake news, y'all. That is not true. Well, within the Louisiana Secretary of State has since announced that he will withdraw his state from that organization, from that company, citing that media reports about potential questionable funding sources. Now, y'all, among other reasons, and becoming the first ex-member of the ERIC's decade-long history, this has been around for years, where all states go through this organization. Republicans, Democrat states, independent, Green Party, everyone goes through there. Well, this January, Alabama decided, well, I'm gonna come out as two. So Louisiana, now Alabama. And then in March, Donald Trump made a post talking about terrible voter registration system and that everyone should vacate. They normally do whatever he says. So since then, you now have Missouri that's come out, Florida that has come out, West Virginia has announced their departure, Texas has since joined, and I'm just embarrassed to say that Ohio has joined this, Iowa and Virginia. But here's the problem. With the 2024 elections quickly approaching, these members do not have any system in place to make sure that all is well. So, for example, this system would check to see if people were voting in two states. This system would check to see if everyone was, their addresses were up to date. They would check to see if you were improperly purged from the system. They would check to see if you needed to be purged from the system. They would check to see if you're voting in multiple states all on the same day, which also sends a message that you can't be in 9 states at one time. All of that would check to see. So it was a check and balance. And this is a nonpartisan group that owns this company. Well, David Becker, who started this entire system, he created that. He's a non-voting board member in the group. He says, I think this is consistent with a larger theme that I have been seeing. which is that a lot of anti-democrat forces out there are dismantling the infrastructure of election security while claiming to secure elections. I want us to talk about this because what's happening is piece by piece, this is becoming dismantled. It's becoming dismantled piece by piece. So I want us to really focus on this. And the thing is, I want you to check your voter registration. It is so important to check your voting registration. I used to do it monthly until at a certain time, right around October, I'll start checking weekly leading up to November election. Now I'm going to start checking it like on a daily basis. It takes less than a minute to check your voting registration to see if all is well. So I want us to really pay attention to this, y'all. This is so important. Dr. Antoinette said, is a former guy pushing another system, one which he financially benefits? Now, I have not seen that, but that's a great question. Shirley Nicholson said, I signed up to work polls in Delaware last year. They never called me, but did thank me for signing up via email. And the thing is, you can follow up with that. Let them know you're still interested. Shirley, let them know that you're still interested. Maybe they had enough for that area. That happens as well. So just follow up and see if they're still looking for poll workers. Marion said, just check my voter registration. All is well. Thank you for checking that. We have to continuously check that, y'all. So that is happening. Now, y'all, with that, I don't understand why we just can't be fair when it comes to our elections. So Mother Jones is reporting that North Carolina Republicans on Friday, they passed a major, what they're calling a power grab. And it's stripping the state's Democratic governor of the authority to appoint majority of members to state and county election boards and giving the heavily gerrymandered GOP legislator far more influence over how elections are run and certified in what they're calling the battleground state. Let me break this down just a little bit for you all. Y'all, it's Senate Bill 749. It's Senate Bill 749 in North Carolina. In this bill, and it's been any governor, whether you're a Democratic governor or Republican governor, any governor was able to appoint these people. Well, now the governor's saying he's going to veto this, but I want y'all to understand this. Right now, there's enough majority rule in the GOP side that they can override the veto of the governor. So, this bill, everything would go into effect January the 1st, 2024. Y'all, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. It says this bill increases the number of members of the State Board of Elections from 5 to 8. Now, red flag here is the number 8. That means that the voting could be a tie vote. You should always have odd numbers when it comes to voting. I think we've talked about this here. And then all 8 members being appointed not by the governor but by the General Assembly. Well, the General Assembly, if it weighs one way or the other, they can then appoint everybody to be that one way. It's like, this doesn't make sense. This isn't democracy. Also, effective January the 1st, 2024, it decreases the number of members of each of the 100 county boards of elections from 5 to 4, with all 4 members being appointed by who? The General Assembly. Effective January 1st, 2024, administratively transfers the State Board of Elections to the Secretary of State's offices. However, the Secretary of State would not direct or supervise management functions of the State Board of Elections. Right there, you double talking. Okay, because if you appointed the Secretary of State to do this, and that's that person, his or her job. They go on to say to clarify the 2024 appointment to certain boards and commissions if Senate Bill 512, 2023 regular session becomes law. Y'all, they're setting this up, and I'm not going to go over each page here, but they're setting this up to where if there's a questionable election, like say this whole thing with the 2020 presidential election, they're setting this up to where the General Assembly could flip the vote. So that, let's say they went for Joe Biden, I think they did. They could flip it to say they really went for the former guy. This is not democracy. So we know that the governor is going to veto this bill, um, but it's very likely that it will stay in play because of the number of GOP in the legislature. I'm sharing this also to say this is why we vote. We've been priding ourselves here on News in Motion to make sure that we are communicating, and hopefully we're doing it effectively, that we want to connect the dots. We want to connect the dots. And one of these dot connections here is that we're not just voting for a person or personality or because I'm told to vote for this person. We have to look at this vote is connected to how many other votes? How many other people are connected to this vote? So in this case, is it possible, and you don't think about things like this, but now we have to. Is it possible that voting this person in office, is it possible that they're going to say, oh, we're going to take away some power from certain people, we're going to put it all here to the General Assembly, and we're going to control it? And if things are not looking the way we want to, we have the power to reverse a vote. We don't want to live like that. We don't want to do that. This is destroying democracy. We're not going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about tomorrow with the Federal Reserve. I've been doing some research into that, and I'm a little shocked. I'm like, this is how we're doing some of these things, and the connection and who's voting these people into these offices. There are, and I'll jump ahead just a minute to tomorrow. There are 8 voting board members with the Federal Reserve Board. Okay. But the way that breakdown takes place and who's on that board should cause concerns. But we've given somebody else power to be able to do that, to select these individual people. So it calls into question a part of this dismantling of infrastructure and a part of this dismantling of democracy should cause all of us to be greatly concerned. For example, North Carolina's 7.3 million registered voters have already they must navigate this whole new voting ID piece, beginning with this November's election. But y'all, this is a controlled Republican Supreme Court that upheld a law in 2018 in April 2018. I'm sharing that as well. And I understand again, but we need to start vetting people to make sure people aren't just voting based upon their party line and putting laws in place, but really considering the constituents, their education, the rule of law, the Constitution of the United States, and so much more. Not just we want all of our party in here. The other thing we need to pay attention to, and this is Monday, happy Monday, everyone. The other thing we must pay attention to is how people are now running on, let's say, a Democratic ticket, but then once they get voted in, they're switching to Republican. That just happened with the mayor. He just flipped parties. He's in there, he won as a Democrat, he's now flipping to Republican Party, which means our vetting system is off and we have to do better. We're going to talk more about this. I would love to hear your thoughts in the chat about this. If you want to read in North Carolina, Senate Bill 749, and understand they wrote this, the no partisan advantage of elections. That's what they titled it. So when people see this, if you're not reading, it's a total of 5 pages. If you're not reading all 5 pages, you're thinking, well, this is a nonpartisan bill. But if you read it, I'm going back to that. We have to read this information. If you read it, you'll clearly see that this is not nonpartisan. This is a partisan bill. This is a partisan bill. Um, it may sound good, but you got to read the fine print. You got to read the fine print. So I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Marion Jackson says destroying democracy and trying to make this a dictatorship. Yeah. For those of you who are wondering about checking your voter registration, you can go to iwillvote.com. You can even register to vote there. You can also go to vote.us, I believe. Yeah, I'm rusty on these. I got to pull these back out. Whatever you see in there, Isaiah, you can pick them up if they're the voting. Whenweallvote.org, that's another one. Yes. But just check your voter registration. And if you aren't a registered voter, vote. And you can find all types of information on ballotpedia.org. On ballotpedia.org. All right, y'all. To change gears a little bit, message sent. CNN is the first to report this. The major film and television studios and striking writers reached a tentative agreement late last night after days of what they call a marathon negotiating sessions. The Writers Guild of America said Sunday evening that this was all paving a path forward to end the historic work stoppage that has frozen production and paralyzed much of Hollywood. The WGA, that's the Writers Guild of America, said in an email to members, in a quote, "We have won in this contract, most particularly everything we have gained since May the 2nd is due to the willingness of this membership to exercise its power, to demonstrate its solidarity, and to walk side by side to endure the pain and uncertainty of the past 146 days. The other thing that stood out to me about this strike is that although people are really concerned about AI, those who were going back and forth to the negotiating table realize that AI cannot do it all. And I think we still need to raise our voices when it comes to AI and make sure we are sending a major line drawn in the sand, saying AI can't replace human beings. That's next to impossible, because we'll lose our sense of touch, smell, taste, all of that, feel, just everything. Latrice Jones says, which mayor switched parties? I knew he was going to ask me that, Latrice Jones, and I have it. I'll post it later. I can see his face, but I just cannot come up with his name. But he did switch parties. But I'll pull it out. I'll share that with you. Let's talk about Coach Prime. Let's talk about Coach Prime. I'm still riding. His interviews have been amazing. He said yesterday, and I loved it. Not yesterday. Yes, no, it was late Saturday. He said, we just received a good old fashioned butt kicking. He said, that's okay. He's not, they keep wanting to shake this man up. And somebody said to him, one of the interviewers said to him, having lost by Oregon 42-6, having, you only put 6 points up on the board. Has this humbled you? And he said, humble. He said, y'all confusing humble with confidence. I have confidence. I love his response. It's like, yes. And he said, y'all had them at 60 points or higher. We kept them at 46. Y'all had us at 0. We got on the board. He said, humble me. He said, it's not about me. It's about the team. I just love the way he comes back. But the thing that bothered me, I'll say it this way. And Latrice, hopefully you're still in here, and Kim Edmondson, I hope you're still in here as well, is that people were waiting for this man to lose. And it has me thinking, do we wait for people to lose? Are we sitting there waiting for them to fail? Because if so, that's something that's wrong with America. Why are we responding that way? Yeah, I'm still in Mark, and I still got news, but I got to go here for a moment. I'm still in Mark, and I was in Mark chapter 9, verses 33 through 37. And I noticed that when they were walking back, Jesus used wisdom all the time. And he waits to ask the disciples a question. And I thought, wow, there's something to that. Sometimes we're always asking questions, and God's like, will you just be quiet and just pay attention for a moment before you ask any questions? And so I wrote down here, for me, Stop being so quick to ask. Just be still. But he stopped. He waited. He wanted to know, what were y'all talking about on the road? And this is when they were talking about, we want to know, who among us who's going to be the greatest. But he waited. He knew they were talking. He knew what they said. He knew what they talked, but he waited until they got into the home, reclined, was having dinner, eating, whatever. He said, what were y'all talking about? Like, what were the questions? What was that? So he waited. The other thing that I pulled out, their argument was about who was the greatest. And it's like, everything is not a competition. I want y'all to hear this. Everything is not a competition. So even though I really believe, and I sent this back to you, Latrice, I really believe that there is a field ministry going on right here. He's depositing life lessons. He's letting people know, be confident, be bold, do your best. They were questioning him also about, I guess it was the Nike president or founder of Nike, whomever, who embraced him on the Oregon field. And I guess he's with Oregon. And they said, well, why did he come to you? He said, I don't know. Y'all need to ask him. I just love his response. He said, I still have shoes. I still have Nike shoes with my name on. I'm like, why are y'all asking me these dumb questions? Why? And why is this a competition? The actual football game is a competition, yes. But why are y'all making me the competition? Why are y'all trying to make sure that I don't stay in the top 25? Why are y'all trying to make sure these boys, this team, is not in the top 25? Why do we do that with each other? I'm taking a little turn here. Sorry, y'all. No, I'm not apologizing. Why do we do this with each other? We will follow people to see and wait if they're going to fall, or if they're going to finally fold, if they're going to finally stop doing what God has called them to do. And I love my son's message on Saturday. He said, stop apologizing for surviving and stop apologizing for thriving. And then he said, I will not lose ever. And he took that from one of Jay-Z's songs or interview a while ago. And that's been in my spirit since Saturday. I will not lose. I can't lose because I am under God's direction, anointing, and authority. I will not lose. And I want you to say the same thing. You will not lose. You will not lose. Isaiah, I know I'm taking you over. If you got to run, you got to run. But you will not lose. You will not lose. We have to have that attitude. Also, something in here, Jesus replied, if anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last and the servant. If we want to be first, we have to be last. We have to serve people. It's not about being first or seen. It's about being a servant. Y'all, I will not lose. I will not lose. So even if you're waiting for me to lose, forget it. Because even if I decide, or if God says to me, let me say it right. If God says to me, okay, Gail, go ahead and wrap this part of your business up, I didn't lose. I'm under the direction and the calling of God. Now, you may look at it that I lost, but I didn't lose. I will not lose. I can't lose. I will not lose. So in Super Bowl news, in case you didn't hear it, Usher is going to be the headliner for the Super Bowl. And he's been waiting a long time. So this even feeds in with that. He's even said, I'll get my turn. Well, he gets his turn on February the 11th, 2024 for the 58th Super Bowl. I will not lose. I won't lose. Everyone's tripping on Beyonce. They're trying to compete put Beyonce against Taylor Swift. And I don't think the two of them even thinking about either one of each other. But this is why Beyonce deserves recognition. Beyonce flies out a disabled man after he was denied flight for an oversized wheelchair. Longtime fan John Harrington, age 34, said he was on his way to finally see his iconic singer perform on her Renaissance tour stop in Seattle, Washington. He says before the unthinkable happened. He was denied access to his flight on September the 14th when the airline could not accommodate his wheelchair because it was reportedly too tall. He posted TikTok, after 25 years of waiting, I'm not seeing Beyonce tonight. So ableism strikes again, he said in the video. Well, the Beehive wasn't having that. No. So they all took to his video and started tagging Beyonce, her team members, and they just kept going for days and days and days and days. Well, Harrington, after a member from her team reached out to him and personally invited him to this show, according to the New York Times, Beyonce's reps also arranged for his transportation, his lodging, food, everything. He even got to sit in the VIP box. So the Beehive made this happen. Beyonce made this happen. They tagged her, they pushed her. So he went to Texas. She was just in Texas over the weekend. And he says, tonight, for the first time ever, I had a seat on the floor for the concert. Welcome to Renaissance. Y'all, you will not lose. This man, Harrington, I'm getting emotional. He's not losing here. He didn't lose. So he was like, ableism took over again. But people saw his post and said, oh, no, we're going to get you there. We're going to get you to see Beyonce. He got there on the floor in the VIP box, flown there. And by the way, all airplanes are the same size, right? It's not, depending upon if you're on the jet or the whatever. His wheelchair made it on the smallest jet. So what was that about? Let's talk about that another time. So y'all, for real, let's stop competing. This is not a competition, y'all. This isn't a competition. It's not. This is life. This is life. Latrice Jones says, you can never lose when you're following and flowing with God. Amen. Hester Jackson says, God has the final say. No, you won't lose. Amen. Robert Holman, I will not lose. I saw you were on live with Pastor Alex on Saturday. Marion Jackson says, what the world sees as a loss may be a victory in the eyes of God. Absolutely. Shirley Nicholson says, sometimes you have to lose to win. There's that. Latrice Jones says, Coach Prime had God confidence, and a lot of people can't stand it. They are trying to make it about Deion Sanders and not about what God is doing and has done. And you are absolutely correct, Latrice Jones. I that resonates with my spirit so much. He's so bold. And if we were all living that life as believers, imagine this world. Imagine this world. Imagine this world. All right, y'all, I can go on and on and on, but I want to respect everyone's time. And I told y'all, sometimes we're 5 minutes, sometimes we're going to be 30, sometimes we're going to be a little bit longer. Today was one of those days we were a little bit longer. Please check your voting registration. Please do that. And invite somebody to tune into News in Motion. There are so many people out there looking for some sort of news, whether they're on live or watching the replay. Those replays, y'all, those numbers are through the roof. Y'all are jamming on the replays on all platforms. And we just want to say thank you. Want to pause just for a moment to say thank you. I know you can choose any news to see. And I know this news is not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. This is not for everyone. But we pride ourselves on bringing y'all fact, showing you how to connect the dots, showing you how to get this information, encouraging you to vote, register to vote. And we promised you when we came back in September that we would get on your last nerves when it comes to voting. We're right about that season right now. But we will also empower you. We want you to live boldly. We want you to know without a doubt you will not lose. All right, y'all, keep moving, everyone. And I heard some of y'all miss my saying, so I'm going to go back to that saying because y'all have been writing in saying, I need to be reminded every day to make some bold moves. So y'all keep moving, make some bold moves, and live your life in abundance. We're out.
News in motion.